and welcome to my episode 5 review of the Acolyte, titled Night. Well, as you know, I've not been the biggest fan of the show, and everyone seems to think this is the best episode ever of any Star Wars, let's be honest. It's nothing more than the best of a bad batch. Let's be honest. This has been awful. Awful. And pretty much the premise of this episode is it's a giant fight scene. That's it. It's 25 minutes, around that time. And it's just a giant fight scene. Now, I like fight scenes, they're great. And one of the reasons people like this episode so much is because there's not a lot of dialogue. There really isn't. But for me, the first few minutes I found to be very, very dark. I mean, I was watching this 9 o'clock in the morning. I had to shut my curtains just to, it wasn't Game of Thrones Battle of Winterfell dark. But I struggled to see what was going on at first. I know at the beginning of the fight scenes it was, behind trees, so you only caught snippets of it. But at first I did struggle to see what was going on. Now, like I said, the plot of this episode is the big fight and the big reveal. Except it's not a big reveal, but we'll get there. So anyway, let's see. Osha comes round after being, force pushed off down a cliff, it seems. So she comes round eventually, and there's a dead Jedi who's, lying not far from her. So she gets up and she follows the sounds of the battle. Meanwhile, while this is all happening, May, who don't forget, at the end of the last episode, she wanted to give herself up. However, she's had another U-turn, and, granted, Jackie, Padawan with fucking super duper Jedi lightsaber powers. Jackie, fucking tore foots into her. So they have a fight scene. And I said once again, I don't really like martial arts in Star Wars using the Force. But anyway, like I said, it's just a bit strange. And instead of saying, whoa, I surrender, hands up, she doesn't do that. She doesn't say hands up. They fight. And eventually, she escapes, or Smilo Ren catches her. But we'll get there. So Smilo just dusts these Jedi, like some of them like they're nothing. I mean, is it good? We have a decapitation, but you don't see it. Cop out Disney. But I like where you went. I like that bit. It looked alright. Meanwhile, we've got Saul, who's, well, we don't really know. He only turns up when he really, really needs to. And then he's there. So anyway, CPD, Coruscant Police Department, also known as the Jedi. Just before they engage Smilo Ren, Saul tells Yard to take Osha back to the ship. Civilians to the ship. Along them lines, I think. So he starts going down, and then halfway there, she's going to change her mind. She's going to say, she's going to look up, see the bugs from last week. I'm jumping a bit, but, we're back. That's what we do here, innit? So, at some point, she's going to look up, remember the bugs, and say, we have to go back. And he's going to go from resolutely standing his ground, saying, no, we must go to the ship, to going, yeah, okay then. And on off the fuck. So, either way, I said, the fight scenes when the camera does catch up and it's not from Osha's point of view, it looks good. It does. However, don't study the fight scenes. Right? That's all I'm going to say is don't watch it on slow-mo or anything like that, because you will see lots of bits where they're not getting the mark. So it looks good, it's flashy, it's, zoom, 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 fucking lightsabers. Everyone wants to see a lightsaber, even me. I want to see sword fights. But I think they would have been better doing the sword fight slowly and then just speeding it up. I don't know if that's what they did, but either way, there's loads of times where they missed the mark or for the plot, have an open target on Smilo Ren, but don't take it. Doesn't make sense. I know we need it for the plot to happen, but there's plenty of times where, he's parrying or blocking one attack and the person behind him's just stood there, not doing anything. Or plenty of other times where, I'm going to make a reference here, not many people will know it, but a certain Richard Sharp, if you've ever read them books, well done, they're very good. And if you've ever seen the TV show from the 90s, early 90s, even better. But in that, point always beats the edge. And in the fight scenes here, they kick him instead of stabbing him. Now, if you're in kicking distance, you're in thrusting distance. Do they kill him? No. Why? Don't know. Other than for the plot to happen. But you understand what I'm saying. The logical decisions, eat a combat if you want. I don't care. Other writers would have been able to figure this out. Also, let's talk quickly about force powers. The battle, to begin with, kicks off with him doing a giant force push. Right? On many occasions, they forget that they can use the force. Now, they are, Smilo Ren's got a mineral in his helmet called cortosis. This is from the EU, apparently. Now then. If your writers or someone on your staff knows about cortosis, why on earth did they not know that Ki-Adi-Mundi isn't even supposed to be alive yet? See, that there's someone in there with knowledge that they know of, but then they just disregard it anyway, which is very infuriating for me anyway. It's like, you know about this, but you fuck up on this section. Why? If someone knows such a minute detail about that, then they know everything else. They know that the Sith hasn't been seen for 1,000 years. And people are going to say, he said the Jedi may call him a Sith, but in the interviews, Entertainment Weekly, he says he's a Sith. So anyway, there's that. Fucking Jedi and him, but all forget they can use the Force. Yeah, the cortosis material shorts out lightsabers for a while. So they go, they're better off than dead. Instead of, force pushing him, force pulling him, whatever, force pulling a fucking tree to him, I don't know, I don't care. You understand what I'm saying? They forget how to use the Force. That gets infuriating. It's either all powerful and it takes no effort, or it fucking does. So anyway, he slices and dices these red-shirted Jedi. We have Jackie and Osha have their little fight scene. And we get the Jackie and Smilo Ren. They have a bit of a fight scene. Now, she's a Padawan. He slices and dices these Jedi like they're nothing. Now, you can argue that he's going easy on her. Right, okay. You can argue that, and I'm sure somewhere on fan sites they have done the shows. Right? but she more than holds her own against him. Why? Even Sol seems to struggle quite a bit. So why is it, at least for a point, does she more than hold her own? We don't know. It's not until she knocks his helmet off that he seems to snap. I don't know. But Smilo then gets his helmet knocked off and he stabs her 3 times. Now, does that mean she's dead? Don't know. I know that sounds like I'm being facetious and silly, but Disney have set a precedent. Now, maybe it's because she's been stabbed 3 times that she's definitely dead. But we saw what happened to Reva. Didn't die. Saw what happened to Sabine. Didn't die. Saw what happened to Carrie Ann Moss's character, Trinity. Gets stabbed through the heart with a knife. A knife does it, but lightsabers don't. So anyway, she knocks off his helmet, destroys it, and he kills her, and that's how we get the big reveal. Ta-da! But it's not a big reveal because most people had guessed it was him. And the writers, it seemed, were going for more of a it's so obvious that it's him that it's not him kind of deal. But it was him and it was obvious. Now, I quite liked his character when he got into, being... Once the helmet came off and he was being, the Sith, if he is a Sith. But it was quite good, quite menacing. You don't see it from the earlier episodes, but he ends up being quite intimidating. He's quite jacked, he's quite built up. He's got some guns and everything, and he just looks quite intimidating. And I like that. And I know, other people have as well. I find it fascinating that over and over again, Disney keep doing female-centric shows, which means they're made by Catwomen for Catwomen. But either way, they keep doing female-centric shows, and yet, time and time again, the most interesting characters are men. I don't know how they do it. It's like they have a complete inability to write at all. We saw it with Balin in Ahsoka. He was far more the intriguing character. And now we've got it in this, where Sol is easily the strongest character in the Jedi. And Smilo Ren, discount Ezra Miller, call him what you want, is more intriguing as, the Sith. We're probably not going to get much of his backstory. I very much doubt it. Not with 3 episodes left, I think. And by all accounts, there isn't supposed to be a season 2. But, they had a pretty solid fight scene afterwards. They go hand to hand because he forgets he has a lightsaber. And what's his name? Smilo Ren parries him away, and Jord turns up with Osha. And Jord uses the Force because he remembers he does have it and can use it. Picks up the helmet, smacks, Smilo Ren round the head a bit, but he's, outmaneuvered in hand-to-hand combat, and he gets his neck snapped. What? His neck snapped, I should say. I don't know what that was. But it was brutal, it was fast, it was, this was the Sith suddenly remembering that he was a Sith, and he can go through Jedi like they're nothing. He struggled against the Padawan, but the Jedi Knights, he can dust them quite easily. So we've lost 2 of the main characters now, and a bunch of red shirts. I'm not going to lie, I'm quite happy about that. Jord was just made to be stupid. He was just there to be the butt of jokes. He didn't really seem to serve a purpose. Except that he's male, so he gets laughed at, or he gets, portrayed stupidly because, it's Leslie Edlund. And, she's definitely not making up for past sins. If indeed she did commit any sins, but that's between, her and God. Anyway, So George's dead. And then, you know, we have a little bit of dialogue between Smilo and Saul, and, you know, he's like, you know, tell us about your past. He wants Saul to open up. What is it? I embrace my darkness. What do you do with yours? And they have another bit of brief hand-to-hand combat, and just as, you know, Saul remembers that he can use the Force, he picks up his lightsaber, he's about to strike him down, and Osha says, no, stop. All right then. Oh, I do forget. Right, going straight all the way back to the beginning bit. Saul's there with his lightsaber ready, and Smilo Ren grabs hold of May and threatens to kill her. Bear in mind, this is also the person who's killed 2 Jedi in the pack previously. And for some reason, Saul wants to save her. No, you're the baddie. He's a baddie. He can kill you. I don't care. But he does care. So, anyway, yeah, that little bit back to where we are. Yeah, that's it. He says, I embrace my darkness, what do you do with yours? And then we cut to another scene where I forget. Anyway, that's it. Saul tells Osha, I will tell you about it, just, you know, give me time kind of thing. And then if memory serves, I might be wrong, he gets that's it. Osha stabs Smilo Ren with the top of the merchandise, which is a giant, you know, the droid, but it turns into a torch, and that gets the bugs, and they carry him away somewhere. He's obviously not dead, but, you know. And then Saul gets stunned, and May comes back and says, I love you, be my sister again, don't choose them again. But obviously May, she's like, you're fucking crazy. You tried to kill me. And, you know, as far as we know, she torched everyone. So, you know, some shit happens, I can't remember. Fucking hell. And then, fucking get this. Saul's knocked out. Osha's knocked out. And May's took the Wookiee's lightsaber. And they're doing a switcheroo. No. Can't think what's that film. Never mind. But they're doing a switcheroo where she's going to pretend to be Osha. So she gives herself a haircut with a lightsaber. She leans forward and cuts her dreads off with a lightsaber that's kind of hot and can go through doors. Big blast doors. And it does nothing to her face. I don't understand that really, but nothing happens to her. So she changes clothes, presumably. She's cut the hair. She helps Saul come round. He senses nothing, apparently, for some reason, because once again he's forgotten how to use the Force. And off they fuck. He leaves all the Jedi dead, lying around, doesn't take the lightsabers or anything. And we end up with Smilo Ren. He picks up what we now know to be Osha, but dressed as May. Fucking, you know, and that's the end. That's it. Alright. The only reason it's the best there is because there's lots of wooshy woo woo fucking zoom lightsabers. That's it. Like I said, if you look at it, or if you go on to fight channels where they'll break the scenes down, it completely ruins it for you. So don't do that. You know. Anyway, that's it. That's my review, my reaction to it. It's the best of what we've got, but it's not a very high bar. It's such a low bar. A fucking an ant could do the Zumba under it, you know. And even the ant might struggle because the bar will be that low to the ground. You know, it's a constant, how will they get things wrong this time? You know, because cortosis, while it exists in the EU, we've not seen it anywhere yet in this world. You know, it's a very rare metal, so wouldn't all the crime syndicates or whatever be after trying to get this? Wouldn't Palpatine try to get this? Wouldn't Vader look for this? Wouldn't the Empire look for stuff like, you know, rare metals? I don't know. Anyway, that's it for me. Bye for now.